Hello, my name is Kayla Weber, and I am doing a speech for interpersonal communication for Professor Palm. I'm going to be starting off by saying a saying from an online document that I seen that I liked. Whether they labor with sweat and muscle or work with modern computerized machinery in advanced degrees, the essence of their lives remains as it's been seen on our ancestors. Cease searching for food and settled the land. By this saying, I'm sure that you can tell that I'm going to be talking about farmers. These individuals do more for all of us on this planet than we could ever imagine. Not only do they work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but they put the blood, sweat, and tears into it to show for it. Farmers do not get the gratitude they should, so I'm here today to show you how much I appreciate what they do day in and day out. I've been fortunate enough to grow up on a farm, on a decent sized farm, all of my life with my family. I've learned a lot of amazing things from living on a farm, not only from living on my farm, but also from fellow farmers. I feel blessed to have had the opportunity to live on a farm where a lot of people wish that they could have gotten the same opportunity that I have. And I didn't really realize that how much farming has really impacted my life until about 5 years ago. Growing up on a farm, your respect for farmers only increases, which was in my exact case. I was told my whole life how lucky I was to be able to live on a farm, but it really was such a normal thing for me that I did not really realize how important it was to me and how much of an impact it had on me until I left for college, actually to Rochester. So it was a very different community for me and very opposite than what I was used to growing up in. So it was very, very different, but it really showed me how much farming had an impact on my life. To just give some background, my father, his father, and his grandfather were all farmers. My father's grandfather was the first generation to start the farm in the U.S. He started over 100 years ago. They're not sure exactly how long, but he began with just a few livestock and some crops just to have his family be able to just live off the land. When they came to the States, the farm soon became larger, and it was used not only for living for the family, but a lot of the families in the community. So they decided to start selling the livestock and not only selling but trading the livestock and the crops for everyone in the community. So it's kind of how our farm became a farm, and ever since then my dad, my father's father, so my grandfather and my dad have both taken over the farm. When my grandfather passed away, he taught my dad everything that he needed to know about the farm, and since then my dad has been taking care of it. He learned everything about farming he needed to know, from farming to the land to livestock. He really got to really love the farm. So I decided to do an interview of my father about his experience on the farm thus far and throughout his whole life, because it's been changing so much. But overall, he stated that he really loves what he does, and he could not imagine doing anything else. The work is not easy, but someone has to do it, and who better than someone that loves what he's doing. So from his words, he said he doesn't feel like he's going to work every day, but rather it's a lifestyle that he's grown to know and fell in love with. So so he really, really likes it. There's a lot of new technology and advances today from farming, so he's really had to kind of change his ideas from back when he first started to now. So the new technology not only makes work easier, but it can kind of make things harder and more complicated because of the costs and how many more new technologies that they have. So it's not easy to keep up with the growing technology, but the only way to keep farming successful and to be running a successful farm is to adapt to what the farming companies tell you to adapt to. Unfortunately, it can be quite expensive, so you have to kind of figure out a way to make it work so that you can keep up and maintain a farm, which is very hard. I could tell you I can't do it, so that's why I have so much respect for farmers. And not only that, but having a successful farm is really complicated. Not only do they have finances to take care of, but they have the crops to maintain. They have cattle, pigs, chickens, horses, or whatever other kind of livestock they have. They have to maintain all of that. Not only that, but they have property, hundreds and hundreds of acres, depending on what kind of farm you have. It costs a lot of money to keep that up. Not only that, does it cost a lot of time. So you're constantly doing something. That's why it's always said that they work 24/7, because it just takes so much time to maintain everything. Not only that, but the farm equipment. As I said before, you have to keep up to date to that. You have to keep current, and that can be very expensive. So you have to make sure your finances are in, stable and whatnot, and that can't be easy. So buying new and improved machinery, if you don't, you can become behind in your fields. So and that will in turn will not make enough money for your farm. And a lot of farms can go bankrupt because of that. So in a sense, you don't really have a choice but to, if you want to keep your farm successful, you need to get that new machinery. And that's a lot on farmers. So with all of those costs, you also have the responsibility to your family, first of all, your community, the state, to provide food for everyone, and also that food provides work for a lot of individuals. So where do farmers have time for themselves? They really don't, unfortunately. The last thing I have to say is a saying from Paul Harvey that I really like. On the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, "I need a caretaker." So God made a farmer. And this is my audience member, Josh, my fiance. Thank you.